What's up, guys? My name is Bogdan, and welcome to the Pathfinder Podcast. Today, I have a very serious and special guest. His name is Delato. Delato is currently at 479 days of semen retention streak and 594 days of abstinence. We're saying this not to look flashy or to be proud about the streaks, but more importantly, about the transformation that this person went through. Delato, I'm excited to have you on a podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be here. I've been looking forward to this for a while, and I very much appreciate it.
Thanks for being on the podcast. First question that I have, what was the lowest point of your life that made you start semen retention?
Well, that's a good question. I've known about semen retention since about the end of 2019, and I guess that was after one of the lowest points in my life, where I had lost my father at the end of 2015. And, you know, I didn't have much direction or guidance in life. I was kind of just having fun, um, wasn't really focused on my career or what I should be doing. I was
Mm-hmm.
just having a lot of fun. So the lowest point for me was well before I discovered SR. It was the loss of my father. But in around COVID season, so early to mid 2020, during the pandemic lockdown thing, I wanted to start self-improving. So I was lifting weights every day. I was bulking up, eating 3 to 4 meals a day. I got very spiritual at that point. I had already taken the red pill in 2017 after just uh, probably my first massive spiritual awakening. And then a year after that, I went MGTOW or monk mode, and I stopped chilling with women for about 6 years. And the natural progression of this, it leads to SR. So it wasn't really a low point that made me start retaining. It was, I just wanted the best for myself. So that's pretty much it on that.
How did the discovery of semen retention happen? Was it a random video, a book, or a referral?
I was on YouTube and don't really know who I saw first. There was
Mm-hmm.
a few YouTubers that were talking about NoFap and semen retention. Um, and yeah, I knew right away that there was definitely something special about it before I even tried it, because this seed is so powerful that it can create human life. So when you're not wasting it and spilling it, when you're preserving it, it has to have some sort of benefits um, that it offers, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Totally. And at what point did you realize that this practice is real and serious? Because, on the internet, under my videos, under other creators' videos, people comment that it's a placebo. Guys, I tried for 30, 60 days. It's all in your mind. When did you realize that it's not in your mind, that there is something spiritual behind it?
Um, I'd say after maybe 2 to 3 weeks is all it took to notice there was definitely some spiritual benefits. And I noticed the increase in energy. I noticed that the brain fog went away. There was more focus and clarity. Life became easier. it became more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it gave me the ability to just jump out of bed every day and look forward to life rather than not being excited about life and just not really wanting to get out of bed in the morning. Um, but I would say it takes a few months before you actually realize how truly special it is. I would say after about 2 to 3 months is when you really start to notice the benefits, the blessings, the rewards that you get for really just putting God first, you know, honoring God and Christ and
Mm-hmm.
putting yourself first as a result and making sure you're on your best behavior, making sure that you're, you know, keeping a healthy diet,
Mm-hmm.
you're lifting weights, you're exercising. Um, if you're smoking weed or, you know, dabbing hash or eating edibles, everything should be kept to a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be used as a crutch or a vice. It should be used as a tool to help you, you know, it should help you with self-discovery. And for me, I use it for meditation as
Mm-hmm.
well, but everything in moderation. And that has helped me along my journey. I have taken several breaks from it too, but if it doesn't hurt you and it's helping you, I don't see the problem with it.
Mm. Interesting, because some of the viewers might look at this video and like, oh, this guy is at 479 days. Now I'm gonna sign up for retention for the whole life. But people have to realize also that you went through some intense journey with relapses, trials, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about your breakthroughs and how long did it take to get where you are right now?
Yeah, so pretty much my history with SR and my extended streaks.
Mhm.
My first legit streak was only 30 days, but it was in early 2023. So from the point I discovered SR, um, probably late 2019, early 2020 to 2023, I couldn't get past around a month. And then in 2023, I did a month.
Mhm.
And then after that, I started doing these triple digit day streaks. So I went from 30 days to 117 days. After that, I did 188 days. After that, I did 227 days. And that was the first time that I ended a streak with a woman. After that, I hit, well, that after that was my current streak that I'm on now.
Mhm.
And my abstinence streak um, has been going on since um, that last you know hookup with that woman.
Mm.
So when you combine the SR streak and the abstinence streak, that leads to a pretty high power level.
I totally agree. And I'm just curious, when you relapsed with the woman, what did your mind tell you before that? From my experience, from my relapses in the past, it's like your mind tells you that you need it today, right now, like immediately, like Amazon Prime, same day, like it tricks you into this same day compulsive behavior, and you think it's a solution. After the relapse, it's like you get a dopamine hit and everything feels great. But next couple of days, the crash is coming, like the fog and stuff like that. So what was in your mind during those relapses? Because like all of us retainers go through this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to say that I've pretty much fully overcome lust at this point. I mean, we're men, we're human, we
Mm-hmm.
still get urges from time to time, but I do look at women as human beings
Mm-hmm.
and not as sexual objects or creatures that are only good for one thing. You know, I do enjoy their company and I don't judge them based on how good they look. Some of the best women I've ever met
Mm-hmm.
are the nicest women. It's not because of how beautiful they are, it's because of their character and their personality. The way they
Mm.
carry themselves is it's attractive. You know, you want to be around them. But I also want to throw this out there that I'm 35 and I've never had a girlfriend. I've never been married
Mm-hmm.
and I have no children. So that kind of helps me keep going on my journey because I don't deal with any distractions. I'm very focused. I'm all about self improvement, leveling up, the glow up, whatever you want to call it. That's my purpose in life. That's my mission is to retain for as long as possible and help other retainers go as long as possible on their journey. All I do is put positivity out there every day and hope for the best for everyone. And it's definitely helped me on my journey. I think that when you help others, the benefits and rewards they come back to you times 10. And I'm living proof of that.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Interesting. Speaking, you said you're 35, so you're fully locked in. How do you feel right now, mentally, physically, and spiritually? Are you genuinely happy?
Yes, I've never been happier. I mean, I'd like to think mentally I've never been healthier. Physically, I'm in probably the best shape of my life. I do lift weights every other day or every few days. I do some push-ups, some squats. I like to run when the weather's nice. I like to walk, you know, miles and miles. I do like to be outside in nature. Um, I like listening to music. I like making my own music.
Mm.
But more than anything, well, I also love cars. That's my main hobby. But what I get the most enjoyment out of in life, at least recently, is helping other retainers and connecting with other retainers from around the world and making sure they're on the right path, you know, the path to salvation. But yeah, I don't think I've ever been in better spirits. I don't think I've ever been happier, healthier. I've never had more energy, that's for sure. Um, I've never been in a position to where I can communicate with other retainers from around the world that are on, they're on an extended streak and we share the same thoughts and ideas. I'm just here to build, create, and evolve. I'm just trying to make a name for myself, trying to build a brand, trying to build my empire. That's what
Th-
I'm here to do.
that's that's deep. So you would say that you've discovered your why already? Like, my question is, why are you here on this earth? Um,
My main purpose is
mhm.
to retain for God and Christ and to also help other men discover SR, or if they've already discovered it, to help them go as long as possible on their journey. I was put here on this earth to help other people
Mhm.
and maybe open your mind to the fact that there are infinite possibilities out there for you in this life. You just have to tap into your higher self. You know, you can't tap into your full potential if you're not retaining as a man. It allows you to be your highest version of yourself.
Hmm. And what's your daily schedule looks like right now? You're mostly focused on work, training, growth, and do you miss or long for feminine energy from time to time?
So my daily schedule, I'll be getting up anytime between 8 a.m. and I might stay in bed till 11 or 12.
Hmm.
It depends on what's going on that day. On SR, you have so much energy that you don't really need to sleep more than 3 or 4 or 5 hours per night. But there's also some nights where I'm in such a good mood. I'm so excited for life and everything it has to offer because of SR that I just can't fall asleep, or I don't even want to go to sleep because life is just so incredible and amazing. And right now, I'm focused on my goals, my hobbies, my business, building my YouTube channel, and just building a name for myself and creating a brand,
Hmm.
which would be Delato. Don't ever let it drop out. It's encouraging men to take a step away from lust and a step towards yourself,
Hmm.
your purpose, your goal, your mission. That's what I'm currently doing.
I feel you. Uh, Speaking of the beginning of your streak, what were the hardest triggers to overcome during the first 90 days?
Are you talking about this particular streak or at the beginning?
This one or previous ones doesn't matter. So maybe you
So,
notice some patterns.
well, you were talking about, so I have overcome lust at this point. I'm still attracted to beautiful women.
Hmm.
However, I'm hesitant to get involved with one at this point in time because I like peace, quiet, and freedom. And I don't believe there are many women, at least in modern times, that offer that to a man. But I am still very much attracted to beautiful women. But I don't think that looks are everything. Like I mentioned before, I think that character and personality are more important than everything else.
Hmm.
You just want to be able to have a good conversation with her. And I don't want it to be all about surface level stuff or materialistic stuff. I like to have deep spiritual conversations with
Hmm.
women, and it helps me figure out, where they're at in their life, what they're looking for. Can I help her? Can she help me? Can we build something together? 9 out of 10 times the answer is no. And for the second part of your question, I used to struggle with PMO
Hmm.
until one day I just stopped releasing, which was when I started retaining nonstop in 2023. Something clicked in my mind that let me know I have to take SR to the next level. And the only way to do that is to stop doing clown retention. So quit porn, quit touching yourself,
Hmm.
quit busting, and also just quit lusting over women because that's only going to hold you back in life. That's not going to help you build and grow. But the funny thing is that the less you care about women and the less you focus on women, the more they want you and the more they're interested in you. So
100%. 100%.
it is what it is. Um,
There is a, it's not only with women, but also in business and relationships. I go to the business events like venture capital events, and when I entered the space, and everybody knows that the speaker sold the company for $1 billion, I see the needy energy. Everybody tries to put a business card to him to get his contact information, but the moment I enter and behave that I am that guy, just internally, everybody wants to connect with me. How magical is that? I just get in the corner, I try to hide, and everybody approaching me, hey man, what do you do? Like, what can I get your information?
Yeah, man, SR gives you that celebrity aura. It gives you confidence that can't be purchased. You can't buy the celebrity aura. You just have to kind of grow into it. I truly believe SR makes you the man that you are always supposed to be. So I notice from time to time, people kind of get jealous of your natural confidence, but you didn't buy this, you earned this. So people kind of get mad at you or jealous because your confidence comes from God and Christ and just honoring them and retaining for a long time just gives you this natural confidence that most men don't know about. And unfortunately, they will never experience this high level of confidence in their life. And I want every man to be able to reach this level of natural confidence that makes life so much easier, so much better. It will improve your relationships with God, Christ, your parents, your family, your friends, with women. Just overall, it makes life 10 times better.
Why do you think certain men will never experience SR? I was asking this question to Rin, but also I'm curious about your perspective on that. Why us? Why not others? Like ever? I'm not saying that we are better from an ego, but why certain men understand this concept and others don't?
So I think that certain men were handpicked and selected by God to retain.
Oh wow.
Some refer to them as chosen or the chosen ones. Some refer to it as the 144,000. I just think that when you get that phone call from God that tells you to start retaining, you need to answer that phone call and you need to listen closely. You need to pay attention to what the Most High is telling you in that phone call. And when He tells you to retain your life force energy, it's pretty much God telling you that He wants the best for you. And only you can unlock this potential that you have, that you carry. But it all starts with step one. And step one would be to stop releasing. After you stop releasing, you will look at women and screens differently. You will try to avoid the screens because that's just demonic. It's a way to steal your energy and get you hooked, get you coming back for more. And what helped me quit porn was that these people that do it are complete sellouts and they are sinning and they're selling out for quick money and short fame. And these women are damaged beyond repair, most of them. And they will regret their decisions in a short time, I guarantee it. But you can see the look on their face is miserable and they don't want to be there. And you can pick up on that negativity or their hurt, their pain. They're hurting inside. And when you watch that stuff, it does transfer over to the viewer. And I don't want to harbor that toxic negative energy that these porn stars carry. So that's how I was able to quit porn. if you quit porn, you might as well just quit playing with yourself too, because there's no point, you know. I'm not gonna pleasure myself with my imagination. That doesn't make any sense. It's just the real thing is always better than the fake thing. It's always better with the real woman, a beautiful woman that actually likes you, loves you, appreciates you, and understands you. Also, it's important that you get with women who understand why you retain. And if she has an issue with you retaining, which most women do, well, that's not the right woman for you. The right woman for you will understand why you retain, and she will appreciate the fact that you retain for God and Christ, and you retain to be the best, highest version of yourself. A real woman will admire that in a man.
I totally agree. So, what do you say when a retainer decides to invite a woman into his life? She needs to know about retention at some point.
If she doesn't already know about it beforehand, then you will be the man to introduce SR to that woman. And you will explain to her that you, the retainer, benefits a lot from this practice. And when you do release, you get brain fog, you get bad luck, it takes time to recharge. I'd rather just live life with a full tank and never bust. And the woman who is able to extract this potent energy from me, she will have to be highly skilled and highly talented at what she does. And she will have to be extremely beautiful, but she will have to be a beautiful person on the inside and out, not just on the exterior, because that doesn't do anything for me anymore. It used to before I started retaining.
Mm-hmm.
I used to fall for, the hot face and the nice body, but
Mm-hmm.
now that stuff is secondary to me. I look beneath the flesh, I look at the spirit beneath the flesh. I don't just look at the flesh. The flesh is not even half the story.
So a woman has to be on the same spiritual level as you as a retainer. Otherwise, for instance, if you hold, for example, for 300 days and you're not able to hold it anymore and you hook up with the random girl from a bar or a dating app, it means that you lowered your vibration and she wasn't a good match from the beginning.
Pretty much, it means it wasn't meant to happen at all, and you fell for lust. And well, some guys retain just for the female attraction. I have done that for my last streak. I'm not going to say it was mainly for the female attention, but
Mm-hmm.
that's how I ended the streak because I finally met a woman that was down for it. And I also explained to her why I retain. And the first time we hooked up, I didn't release. I told her I was not going to release because I would like to break 200 days. And then a couple of months after that, we met up again. We hooked up, and I did end up releasing because I thought that that was the right time to release on that particular journey. But now that I think about it, if I didn't release that time and never released since then, I'd be around 700 days right now. No exaggeration at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it turns out that she wasn't the right woman for me. There was a bit of an age gap. She was about 15 years older than me, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a first for me. I had never been with a woman who was older than me, and it was a good experience. I had a good time, but definitely wasn't a proper match. So looking back now, I do look at it as a mistake, but it was a learning experience and I had a good time in the moment. I think we both learned something from it. And yeah, I'll never forget that experience. It was a few good times. But looking back, I kind of do regret it. Yeah.
Yes, because usually when you release, it's so like it's pleasurable, but it doesn't bring as much as enjoyment as achieving personal goals or making personal breakthroughs. You
Exactly.
you earlier mentioned porn and also masturbation. I think that's a really important topic. First question is, very often men think that releasing and masturbating is the way to ease the pain, the pressure. For example, your boss tells you that you suck at work, scream at you, you go home, you open the hub, hoping that the stress will go away. And this is how we were conditioned as a society. But in reality, it makes things worse. What are your stance on releasing when you going through the pressure of life and when things are getting fucked up? Is the release and masturbation is the right choice for a man when the pressure hits you in the face?
So, in my personal experience, it's never worth masturbating or releasing. It actually adds to your problems, it adds to your stress levels, and it leads you desiring more than before. So, it actually leads to an empty void that cannot be taken care of through those practices. It ends up making it worse for you. So I used to be a drainer, obviously. I think most of us
All
used
of
to be
us,
drainers.
all of
Yeah.
us.
We all had to start somewhere, right? And going from a drainer to a retainer, it really gave me the clarity to see that porn is evil and demonic, but so is touching yourself to it. So it just creates a vicious cycle where you're hooked, you're addicted to the screen and this false pleasure and this fake reward system that you think um, kills your stress and your anxiety. No, it actually adds to it. And I tell people like this, you need to be very careful of what you allow into your eyes and ears. Because when you allow those images into your eyes, they kind of get saved in your mind. Same thing with the audio, with those sounds. Those sounds also get stored in your mind. And some people may never forget those sights and sounds. Some people it may take them weeks or months to get rid of those sights and sounds that they saw on the screen. So yeah, I always tell people like the real thing is better than the fake thing, but SR is better than both. SR is better than sex with a woman, and it's better than jerking off to porn. It's the best. It's like winning the lottery. It's like hitting the jackpot in life. When you start retaining, you realize that you won. You won the game of life. It's not over yet. You still have a lot of work to do, but it is kind of like hitting the spiritual lottery. So when you watch porn and you edge or you jerk off, you are further dividing yourself from hitting that lottery or that jackpot in life. You're making your life more difficult than it needs to be. So I stay away from PMO, and I also, it's not that I avoid women. I just really value my peace, quiet, and freedom. And if I ever meet a woman who is peaceful, beautiful, but also appreciates peace, quiet, and freedom, then I would allow that type of woman into my life. No problem. I just haven't met many.
Hmm.
And it's also a funny thing when you're in your 20s as a man, you see all these beautiful women that are around that same age. And at that point, they're in their prime. Fast forward a decade, now you're in your 30s. As a man, now you're in your prime. And these women have now hit the wall. So they're past their prime. So now the tables have turned. Now you're that guy. And now these women in their 30s, they've hit the wall. They're past their prime and they're not really as attractive as they once were. And now they want you even more. And you look at them like, I wanted you 10 years ago when I was in my 20s. You were nowhere to be found. They were looking for the guys that were in their 30s or 40s in their prime, and you were overlooked. Now you're in your 30s, you're on SR, you're in your prime, and you don't really want them as much as you used to. It's a funny concept. You, as a man on SR, become the prize. You are the prize, especially on a long street. You
Totally.
are him.
And today, on a dating market before the streak, when I was on dating apps looking for dopamine hits, if you look at the patterns, women in their early 20s or mid 20s, they look for something like fun, cool, they just want to explore the city, to go places. But women over 30s, they're looking for long term and looking for a lifetime partner most of the time.
That or they want a retirement plan. They
Mm.
want a pet wallet. They want a walking ATM. They want a sperm donor. They want a guy to give them the easy life and the soft
Mhm.
landing, take them on trips, vacations, pay for their. I do not believe in paying for a woman's hair, nails, makeup. That's their problem. That's not my issue. Like when they expect a man to pay for their daily upkeep, I'm thinking, what does that have to do with me? Because that's your responsibility as a woman to present yourself as a lady, to look good, look attractive, and look beautiful. The one thing I will say is that if she's my girlfriend,
Mhm.
that might be a different story. If she's fully committed to me, then I'm not gonna have an issue with paying for her certain things, not everything, but at that point, you're a couple, your boyfriend and girlfriend, you know each other well. What type of boyfriend wouldn't help her? What type of boyfriend wouldn't help take care of his girlfriend's? I don't know.
Mhm.
Like I might buy her something here and there. I'll definitely might take her out on some dates here and there, but as far as her appearance, that's her responsibility. So if a woman gets mad at a man for not paying for her hair or nails, it's like, yeah, that's not the man's problem. That's the woman's problem. It's her job to look good. I have nothing to do with it. I didn't I didn't ask her to put on makeup before that date. That's all in her mind. That's where women get it confused. They think that that responsibility lies on us as the
Mhm.
man to take care of that. No, because I prefer natural beauty in a woman. So I don't have an issue with a woman wearing no makeup at all. I actually prefer it. But since they were lied to their whole lives, they were told they have to paint their face with a brush, they have to look a certain way. I don't buy into that, as a a long-term retainer, being on monk mode for years, taking a step away from society, you really realize that these women, they think with the hive mind as a group collective, and they just want to fit in with the next woman. They want to copy the Kardashians or whoever else is popular at that moment. But I truly believe that women do not know what men want and what men find attractive in women. Women think that men are attracted to too much makeup and like lip injections or breast implants or even worse, BBLs. Most men are turned off by all that stuff. Majority of men are not attracted to artificial beauty. Most
Especially,
men that I talk to about this were all attracted to natural beauty, nothing artificial, no surgeries, just represent yourself in a natural, organic way.
totally. And especially when you are a retainer, I've noticed this about myself on this streak. You are not able to tolerate fakeness and bullshit anymore. You just see things clearly. And when you mentioned things about makeup, I think you're able to see that and appreciate no makeup, like natural things, authenticity, and real people when you retain. As Rin says, hi Rin, I know you're watching. When you're a depleted fuck, you're all you want to do is have more things, more sex, and stuff like that. But when you are disciplined and you retain, you just appreciate natural and authentic things and real people.
100%. You see through the veil.
It's
Uh,
hard.
the
It's hard to
the
wake up, brother.
it takes time, and some people will never wake up. Some people will wake up early. Some people will wake up in their 20s. Some people wake up in their 30s, but I tell them like this: better sooner than later, but better late than never.
Mm,
And that doesn't just go for SR, that goes for taking the red pill, understanding the world we live in, understanding female nature, understanding how, health and wealth works, because you can't really enjoy your health without wealth, but you can't really enjoy wealth without health. So I'd say those two things go together, and
hmm.
they're both very important in life.
Agree. I have.
But it
Mhm.
also, sorry to
Okay.
interrupt, but I think that when you go on a long streak, it tells you the importance of, you know, keeping a clean and healthy mind, not being
Mm,
distracted, not being not focusing on things that don't help you in life. Um Avoiding mainstream everything. Just I like to remain in the underground.
mm,
Like I don't watch TV. I don't like any new movies. I don't really like too much mainstream music. I definitely noticed that SR makes you more of a unique individual. It makes you want to pave your own way. You want to carve your own path in life. You don't want to copy anyone. You
mm,
don't want to
mhm,
be like anyone else. You just
mhm,
want to be you,
mhm.
the unique, authentic you.
I agree, 100%. When you said keeping clean and healthy mind, that's a problem for lots of retainers and lots of men who try to avoid lust. What are the routines, techniques, and practices that help you to keep your mind healthy. For instance, all of a sudden, a couple of days ago, a thought pop up, random thought about a woman that I met maybe like half a year ago, or a thought about an ex all of a sudden, and highlights of the relationship. And I'm like, whoa, 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 what's going on? I have my own techniques how to work on that, but I'm curious about your perspective and your, I don't know, spiritual or physical techniques.
So every day I remind myself why I'm retaining in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, it's for God and Christ. I'm not even a religious dude, but when you retain for a long time, it becomes very clear that God is real, and I get my strength and knowledge from God, and I get my protection from Christ. And I'm not even religious at all. It's just the human male body tells the story of Christ when you retain. So that made me become more Christ conscious. Not only that, God has revealed himself many times on this journey. I mean, I was a strong believer in God before I started retaining, but after I started retaining, there's no doubt about it, no question at all. God is real. He's very powerful, and you're definitely highly favored by God when you do this practice. Every day I get up, I remind myself why I retain. It's for God and Christ. It's to make the world a better place. It's to tap into my full potential. It's to allow these benefits, rewards, and blessings to keep flowing into my life. And I also do it for the whole SR community, retainers around the world. I also do it to inspire men around the world to start retaining. And I encourage other men that have already started retaining to continue on this path of excellence, because it's worth it, man. Like, this practice definitely pays off. I recommend it to every man all around the world. It's fully worth it. You will not regret it. I don't think I've spoken to anyone that went on a long streak, let's just say 100 days plus, triple digit days. I've never heard anyone say they got zero benefits. They didn't get increased energy. They didn't get more female attraction. They weren't just overall happier, in a better mood. And another thing is that guys think that these blessings and benefits start after only 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Now, everyone is different, but it's going to take a little bit longer than 2 or 3 weeks for you to start noticing these heavy benefits, serious rewards, and blessings that you will receive, whether it's from God, universe, the source, whatever you want to call it. It might take you a few months before you start getting blessed, but you have to stay on this path if you want to get those blessings and rewards and benefits. But they will happen. It just takes some time. But it doesn't take as long as you might think. Most people, they start getting blessed after only 2 or 3 months. But once you hit 100 days, once you're in that triple digit day territory, straight to outer space. It just keeps getting better and better. I guarantee it.
I want to try something new on this podcast called Semen Retention Hater. And I'm going to challenge Delato right now, like the guys sometimes do in the comments, guys. So I'm doing this for you. So let's give it a try. So Delato, imagine I'm one of the guys who are against retention. So I'll give you an argument and you will comment on that. So Delato, I watched your podcast with Bogdan, But like everything that you say is really in your mind, and it's a placebo. There is no scientific evidence of what you guys do, and it reminds me of a cold. I tried to do semen retention once for 60 days. I felt the same. Right now, I'm having sex like every 2, 3 other days, and I don't see any difference, man.
Well, number one, you haven't retained for long enough to really see the benefits that you're looking for.
Mm.
It doesn't happen overnight. You have to remain patient. The second thing is that if you could experience the peaceful state of bliss that I'm experiencing, you would not keep fornicating or releasing frequently, or even worse, fapping. You would stop all that because God is always watching, listening, and observing at all times. If he saw what you were doing behind closed doors, he would be laughing at you. He wouldn't be proud of you. Neither would your family, friends, your future girlfriend, your future wife, even your future kids. If they saw you doing that, they would be laughing at you. You would be a joke. So keep that in mind that
I hear you. On top of that, I just wanted to add something. So I have a friend. This is SR Hater Part 2, guys. Let me know in the comments if you like this new thing. So I'm gonna be challenging my guests. So let's keep going back into the character. So I hear you, Delato, but also I have a friend whose father is a very famous doctor, and he is urologist, and he works at this university where people explore sperm and human body, especially male, and they have the best degrees, the best teachers, and he keeps telling me that releasing at least 3, 4 times a week is healthy, and he's a doctor and he has a degree. So I trust him. I appreciate you guys' perspective and Bogdan's podcast, but I think it's a little bit like a bullshit. So I better trust the doctors and the network of doctors who's been in the industry for dozens of years. I'll keep
I would
releasing.
I would strongly disagree with that. I have a video on my YouTube channel I made a couple of years ago called Trust the Retainer, Not a Drainer. And these doctors, not all, but most of them are not really looking out for your best interest. They want you to need them, or they need you to need them. So they're going to tell you whatever it takes for you to be operating in your lower nature, which would include releasing frequently, to the point where you're going to believe the doctor or the doctors, and you're going to say the doctors are right. Basically saying the drainers are right and the retainers are wrong. But who are you going to trust? Google, AI? Or are you going to trust an actual real life human being that has retained for months or years? I'm going with the actual retainer. Um, a lot of doctors, they preach that it's healthy to release frequently. They also mention how it's healthy for your prostate to, if you don't constantly release, they say you're at risk for prostate cancer. And that has never really been proven. But, you know, I'm on 15, almost 16 months of SR, and I have never experienced these issues. The most, I've experienced is maybe a little bit of pressure down
Mhm.
there, but it only lasts a day or two at a time and it goes away. And you just have to remind yourself that it's worth fighting through that pain or that pressure, because if you relieve yourself and let one go, you're back to day zero, which is square one. And I never want to experience that ever again. Anything I can do to avoid going back to day zero, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do everything in my power to avoid going back to day zero, because that's a place we never want to go ever again. And the only time it's never worth it. The only time it's the only excuse I could possibly think of is if you're with the woman of your dreams and she extracts your energy and you had a good time and maybe you learned a thing or two from each other, and basically at that point it's just nature taking its course. She likes you, you like her, the attraction is there, and two becomes one, and then she empties your tank, so to speak. But I'll do everything in my power to keep retaining. Even if I get intimate with a woman, I'm still going to be practicing SR. I'm still going to be trying to keep my tank full and never bust. So I have a phrase that I call Olympic swimmers. So I refer to my my seed as Olympic level swimmers, because even when I'm about to bust, I just stop, or I just hold it in, because I remind myself how terrible that experience is of being on day zero, and I will just do whatever it takes to avoid that. I look at releasing as wrong at this point.
Mm.
If I can hold back for as long as possible, I will. My goal is to hit 2 years minimum. My ultimate goal is to hit 1,000 days, which is only 2.7 years. I'm already about halfway there. So the longer you go on your streak, the easier it is to hold it in. And I have rewired my mind, reprogrammed the way that I think, to view releasing as something that's terrible and that should never be done. So
Oh
it,
wow.
yeah.
Oh, man, I see the huge wave in the comments from people. This information right now is really triggering for lots of people. And on top of that, as an SR hater, another final additional question, like, man, you're talking about getting to 2 years, and life is such a journey. Why not let yourself to experience pleasure a little, to have fun on the weekends, to grab a beer, to find a girl, like what it's like for. I know you mentioned it's all for God, but aren't you gonna have FOMO, fear of missing out? Like once you're gonna be 40 or 50, uh, you're not gonna have any regrets?
So that's an incredible question. I don't drink alcohol or soda. It's been over 10 years since I had a drink of alcohol or soda, but um I still like to party and I still like to live life. And also, I don't think it's a real party unless there's women there. I've always thought that. You can have a gathering with a bunch of your friends, but it's not going to be the same as if there was women there. Feminine energy is something special, the divine feminine energy, particularly. But I'm an introvert and I've always been an introvert. Also a Sigma male, so I don't compete with others. I only compete with myself. I'm trying to be better than the man who I was yesterday. And this kind of goes back to that natural confidence thing. When you're an introvert and you're a Sigma male, you don't want to fit in with society. You're not even a part of society. You're separated from it. But that makes you kind of more popular being a loner
Mm,
because now you have the certain mysteriousness to you that you're not shy. You're the opposite of shy, but you also don't talk too much, especially to strangers. But you're not shy. You're very much an open book. I like talking to other people when, they share similar ideas, similar perspectives, but I know that retainers are a very rare breed. We're cut from a different cloth. So
mhm.
most people are not going to like us. They're not going to agree with us, and they're just going to have an issue with us because we have the glow. We have that bright magnetic aura that it didn't happen overnight. This took time to build and grow, and you had to earn it. So there's no shame in telling people that, yeah, I had to become the man that I am now in order to be happy, to get jacked, to get success, to get good luck, abundance, prosperity. This didn't happen overnight. This happened from self improvement. This happened from being honest with yourself and not lying to yourself. And yeah, people just don't like other people that are constantly working on themselves, evolving, growing, improving. It's all about exiting your comfort zone, doing things that you don't really want to do, but you have to do. And in order to get to the next level in life, you're going to have to break out of your comfort zone. And retention is definitely part of that. Abstinence is another part of that. Fasting, meditation, sobriety, these are all parts of God mode.
This is so real. And speaking of hate on semen retention, I try to stay positive, to do like mantras and affirmations, but I feel right now at this stage how my circle, people who I call friends in Los Angeles, I feel the jealousy. I feel jealousy and silent hate. And in my opinion, the worst invention on social media was stories, IG stories, Facebook stories. I feel like recently I opened the photo studio in Los Angeles. I have 500 contacts in my phone. People check the stories. Not a single congrats on opening the studio, bro, even from people who are close. I'm trying to stay positive, but I know that the discipline, the drive triggers lots of people. But what can I do?
So, congrats on the studio, brother.
Thank you.
Um, you're definitely going places in life. And yeah, I noticed that too, is that the longer you go on this journey, the more people will be jealous and envious of you, but they're secretly kind of admiring the work that you've done. They wish they could do it themselves, but they also realize that it's not easy. It takes discipline, determination, dedication, obedience to God. And yeah, most people just don't have that in them. And I know this practice is not for everyone, but yeah, I noticed that the hate is real. The jealousy is there, and it gets stronger because you continue to do the right thing, and you're highly favored by God. Like, you are protected beyond these people's beliefs, beyond their comprehension. They have no idea how highly favored you are in this world. And we didn't even ask for this, but we earned it. And when they see your anointing that God has placed over your life, that's when they get mad because they want it for themselves. But they want it immediately. They want to take the easy way out, or they want to skip all the steps along the process to make it to this level in life or with SR. They want to be the winner of the race without running the marathon, so to speak. And that's not how this works. You have to put in the work. You have to get extra focused, extra disciplined, extra obedient to God if you want to go this far. If you want to go the distance on the journey, there will be some amazing days and there will also be some terrible days. You just have to keep fighting through and realize that there are major rewards once you fully break through, once you pass a certain point. I'll just say triple digit days. Once you hit 100 days, you become a warrior. Like everyone knows that you're not the one to mess with. You are chosen, you're highly favored, you are handpicked by God to be a retainer. It's something you should be wearing as a badge of honor. It's you've reached king status. You know, you're top tier. You're elite. You have knowledge that 33rd degree Freemasons have, but you're not into Masonic stuff. You're not into Illuminati. You know about it, but you would never sell your soul. My soul belongs to God, and it's not for sale. That's another thing that SR has showed me is that it's never worth being a sellout. You should never sell your soul. Your soul should belong to God. When your soul belongs to God, that means you are in charge of your vessel. You you're the captain of the ship. You're steering the vessel. No one else. So you have full control. You have all the power. Basically, at that point, you've taken your power back and you're keeping it, which is what I tell all retainers to do. Take your power back and keep it. When you do that, most people will respect you. They will appreciate you. They will admire you. They won't tell you, though. They won't tell you, congratulations on your extended streak. Good work on defeating lust. Good work on quitting PMO. They're not going to tell you that because maybe they're still trapped in that cycle of lust. Or maybe they are just a hater and they cannot be happy for other people at all.
I also realized that tech companies orchestrated the behavior of people, especially as I mentioned before with IG stories or Facebook stories, people checking on each other but do not engage. And by doing these, the company, big companies, tech companies study the data points, the behavior, and they keep people longer on the platform. And when a founder of the company, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, says, we're a community, we're as united as ever, I'm like, where? People just do a performative checking to see if, God forbid, somebody's doing better than you. This is how I feel, guys. Let me know in the comments if I'm tripping or if that's what everybody feels. I feel that despite having phones and being friends on Facebook, Instagram, other platforms, people feel as disconnected as ever.
I fully agree with that, man. As the technology improves, the interaction between human beings gets worse. It's de-evolution. So we have all this technology at our fingertips, and it's always evolving. It's always improving, but I think as a result, people are becoming more shy, more introverted. They're becoming less skilled at communication overall, and they don't want to communicate with other people, whether it be their own family, their own friends, even strangers. Now, I'm not shy. I like to interact with as many people as I possibly can,
Mm-hmm.
except for drainers, though. I don't like interacting with people that they just want to take, they just want to keep taking your energy. They want to leech off you or siphon off of your positivity. Now, I don't like that, but if you're talking to another retainer, you're both on an extended streak, you're both full of peace, love, light, positivity. Those are the people I enjoy speaking with, and I could talk to them for hours and never get bored, never get tired. But there's other people that are on a shorter streak or no streak, and I do find myself getting bored or getting tired
Mm,
sometime in the middle of that conversation where it's kind of like I gotta go. I gotta go recharge
mm,
my battery. I need to take time to myself and be alone because that's when introverts recharge is when they're alone.
mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean I'm not a social person. It just means I'm very selective on who I interact with, who I socialize with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when it comes to women, I prefer dealing with highly intuitive and highly spiritual women that are tapped in. What I mean by that is they're not they're not superficial, they're not overly materialistic. They actually value people for who they are, their character, their personality, their charm, their charisma. If they're, you know, chasing their goals, their dreams, someone who's very focused, disciplined, someone who's going places in life. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think women are drawn to men who are on their purpose, who are on a mission to succeed and shine their light bright on this world because we live in a very dark world. And when you come across a retainer whose light shines very bright, um, it definitely disrupts the energy in that room or in that building or in that town or in that city. That's how powerful this energy is. It's so potent that you're disrupting the system, you're disrupting the matrix, you're making people glitch out because they're not used to people like you and me preserving our God given energy, having a full tank, never busting, and having what I call professional level swimmers or Olympic level swimmers, where my seed is safe and protected and the most valuable to me when it's stored in my sac. When I let it out, now I've lost energy, I've lost value, I've lost the glow, and some woman just stole it from me. She ran off with my glow. She stole my full tank, and now she's using my energy for herself. But the thing about it is, when a woman drains you and steals your glow, it only lasts 2 or 3 days for her. Then, when it wears off, she needs to recharge, whether it's from you or the next victim. So they're always looking to replenish their fix. They live for our seed. our seed is like the fabric of this universe, man. So it's pretty much what makes the world spin. It's not just money that makes the world go around, it's our seed because it's the driving force that pretty much keeps society going. It keeps the infrastructure functioning. If a guy is drained all the time, he's not going to want to go out and work. He's not going to want to talk to women. He's not going to want to chase his goals and dreams. He's going to want to just do nothing or do as little as possible. He has no goals. He has no vision. So
Oh
SR gives
wow,
you the
wow.
proper vision, you know?
That's interesting and triggering again because I have a lot of viewers who are married, and the thing is, I was talking about that with Rin again. I was asking him about his perspective on marriage. So seems like when a man who is stressed out after work comes to his wife, and in order to release the stress, they have this physical experience, but it doesn't make things better most of the time because he comes back to work stressed again the next morning, and he can be more stressed and more drained. So, and my question is, where is the balance? How to get recharged through your girlfriend or your woman so you go back stronger on a battlefield? And what conversations do they need to have as a high vibrational couple? Maybe the woman has to say something, hey, honey, I see you're going through the tough situation. I believe in you. Let's not indulge. It's going to make you stronger. Get back on the path and fuck them up, like stuff like that. Or how do you see marriage as an amplifier of semen retention journey or spiritual development?
So I personally don't believe in marriage. I'll never get married. Um, it is a institution where one party gets punished for obeying the rules, where the other party gets rewarded for breaking the rules, that being the woman. So I think that you could be in a long-term relationship with a woman without getting married to her, without signing the papers, without putting the ring on the finger. Because once you do those things, you're now in the losing position or the weaker position where she now has the power and the authority, and you as the man don't. Um, if there's kids involved, that's a different story because now you should stay together for the kids, for the family. But if you're a single bachelor, there is no point in getting married in 2026 and beyond until they fix the rules that are biased against men. But I'm definitely not against relationships, although I've never been in one. I've never had a girlfriend. I think that it can be a very beautiful thing, but that's a conversation you're going to have with your girlfriend. You're going to have to tell her that you benefit tremendously from you not busting. And if she needs you to bust all the time, or even if she needs you to bust once, then that's not the right woman for you. Because a real woman, the divine feminine, will understand, acknowledge, and appreciate the reasons why you retain. It's to get closer to God and Christ. It's to have all this extra energy that allows you to conquer the world every day. You can take care of your goals, your mission in life. You'll take care of those things if you stay retaining. If you bust, well, now you're being taken off course. So
Wow.
yeah, the woman that you choose to be with, she must understand that she can help you or she can hurt you. She can help you by supporting you, getting intimate with you, but not making you reach that point of climax. So when you understand each other and each other's bodies are what makes you pop. She
Mhm.
will learn you and she will not take it to the point where you're about to explode and lose all your SR benefits.
Mm.
But as a man, you can make her climax multiple times. As long as you don't climax once, you're good to go. And yeah, you're just going to have to sit her down, have a conversation that you tell her that I'm not going to be busting anytime soon. I would only bust to start a family, and I don't want to start a family right now. I'm enjoying life too much to bring another life into this world. Not to mention the economy is not that good right now. I don't want to be on the hook for 18 years. I would rather keep all my money for myself and just keep living the incredible life of a bachelor. But yeah, if I ever have a girlfriend, I will tell her that releasing is not something I do. It's not something I plan on doing. I've taken years to rewire my mind to look at releasing as something that is terrible. And it's something I never want to do. I have no interest in doing something that it might be like 15 to 25 seconds of pleasure followed by 3 days of misery and depression. I don't ever want to experience that ever again. I don't care if she's like an 8 or a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10, because there is no such thing as a 10 out of 10. Perfection doesn't exist, at least with humans. The only thing that is perfect in this universe is God.
Mm.
There is no perfect person. Everyone has flaws. I think that we must embrace our flaws because that makes us who we are. And yep, you'll never find a perfect person. It just doesn't exist.
I have another challenge for you, Delato. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
For instance, after this podcast, you get an email from a female who says, Delato, you were great. I totally resonate with you. And what state are you in, by the way?
I'm in New York.
Okay, she's like, I'm in New York as well, Delato. I read 10 books about semen retention. I totally resonate with this practice. Would you like to grab a coffee on Sunday?
I would say yes. I would definitely grab a coffee with her. Does the next question is, does she expect me to pay for her coffee? Because it's 2026, drizzle drizzle. Respect yourself, brothers. Uh, but if it's a date, then I'll pay, no problem. If it's just like a friendly meeting where we're keeping it as friends, then yeah, I'm paying for mine and she's paying for hers. And I don't want to hear anyone hate on that because
It's gonna be
let's
some
not
hate.
act
Get
like
ready, get ready, get ready
let's
for
not
some.
act like feminism didn't happen, especially fourth wave feminism. Let's not act like women are now trying to compete with men in the workplace and in society in general. So I'm looking for a feminine, submissive woman, fit, friendly, feminine, cooperative, submissive, but not in a controlling way like they might think. I'm not trying to control or manipulate them. I I admire them. I appreciate them, and what they do for the world. And we also must acknowledge that we all came from a woman. We were birthed from a woman. We should never forget that. But women tend to forget, they like to take all the responsibility for conception of babies, but there were two parties involved in that process. And the man, his seed is actually what determines the gender of the baby, not the woman. So I think women, especially these days, they don't appreciate men enough. And I also think that simps and weak blue pilled beta males over appreciate women. There needs to be a balance here where men and women are both appreciated. We need to understand and accept the fact that men and women are different. Our minds are different. Our skeletal structure is different. Our strength levels are different. Our bodies are completely different. We don't think the same. We don't look the same. And we don't act the same. And I don't want to hear anyone call me a hater or a misogynist because you don't know me. And I appreciate and admire women. But once you tap in to the red pill or to MGTOW or monk mode, and then you tap into semen retention, you realize that we were lied to for our whole entire life about women and about society in general, and the whole world in general is a massive lie. You don't really reach this point until you at least have one spiritual awakening or you discover the red pill, you go MGTOW, you go monk mode, you start retaining your seed. You realize that SR is the truth. It is the way of life. It's the way that God and Christ wanted us to live as men. They mention semen retention in all the holy books, all the good books, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, they all mention semen retention. They tell you not to spill your seed unless it's to procreate. So naturally, that's the only logical reason to ever release. It needs to be with a woman, and it needs to be to pass on your legacy and start a family. And we live in a day and age where men are completely unappreciated. When if you're watching YouTube, we live in a gynocentric, feminist, socialist, communist twilight zone where women are good and men are bad, and it's never the other way around. And we always need to boost women up while pushing men down. And I'm just sick and tired of this, man. Like, men are so much better than that. We're so much more than just a pet wallet or a walking ATM or a sperm donor. Nah, we're really good people, especially retainers. We're we're like top tier gentlemen, you know? We're the men that women actually want. The thing is, they know that we're not weak and we're not easily controlled or manipulated by women or society or the system. So they look at us as a difficult project or an impossible project. They know that they cannot change us. And most women prefer bad boys over good guys because they look at him as like a fixer upper. They want to change him. They want to change his ways and his behavior to make him less of a bad boy and more of like a simp. more of like a blue-pilled male feminist. And retainers will never change, we'll never switch over to the other side. We took our power back, we're keeping it, and women are going to have to get on our program and our schedule if they want to be in our life, and if they want to stay, they're going to have to be our helpmate, which is exactly how the Bible describes women, as a man's helpmate, not as a direct competitor, not as a hater or a deception artist or a witch. Nah, we're just looking for good women. And it's getting harder to find good women out there. I know they exist, I know they're out there, but most women would not really bother dealing with a retainer because we're such solid men, like we're not changing for women. End of story.
Okay, so let's get back to my challenge. So imagine this girl in New York invites you for a coffee, and
Right.
she pays, she invites you, she wants to connect with you, and she curious about you as a human being and as a soul. How do you pre-qualify a woman? Maybe you said you trust, you believe in God. Maybe she is God sent, maybe she's not. How do you pre-qualify that it's the time to enter the relationship with this woman? So maybe she's going to be again talking about God and SR and that she goes to the church every Sunday. So how do you pre-qualify her, and how do you, whether you let her in your life or not?
Good question, man. She doesn't have to be religious. I would just like her to believe in God, or believe in Christ, or have a good connection with them, or just be spiritual. I tend to lean more towards spirituality than religion, but I do appreciate someone that is religious or spiritual. They have a strong um, belief system. But if we're talking about this one particular woman
Yeah,
who we want to go, she wants to go on a date with me.
yeah.
Let's say she invited me, or it's a mutual thing, like we both want to
She
see each.
invited you. She sent you a
She
DM.
okay, she invited me.
She suggested the spot. The spot is spiritual. There are candles, no loud music. You go on a date. You talk to her. You're sitting next to her. You turn to the left and you see the, I don't know, the picture of Jesus Christ or some sign. Some miracles start happening, or like you feel the vibes. How do you proceed? I'm just trying to understand as a retainer, are you open to the possibility of meeting the right woman? Because some people might say that potentially after listening the whole monologue and interview, they might think that maybe you have a limiting belief that those women do not exist, or they say something like, are you open to the possibility that this woman is somewhere in the universe, or are you at this stage fully locked in on retention? So I'm trying to understand how you would interact with this woman, if you're able to elaborate on that.
I got you. So, I mean, being close to 500 days, I want to just stay on this journey for as long as possible, but I'll never rule out the the option that I know that eventually I will have a good woman come into my life, and she will be sent from God. I already know that, but I'm not in a rush for that, because I would be happy to hit 500 days and then meet a beautiful woman who was sent from God, and we do end up connecting on a deeper level. But at the same time, I wouldn't be mad at all if that didn't happen for another year or two or something like that, because that means I could just focus on God, Christ, myself, my journey, my other retainers that I talk to from around the world, because that's kind of the motivation that keeps me going, is I know that I'm not the only retainer that is going through this. It's like a collective thing where, like, I don't need to share this information about my journey with other people. However, I do enjoy sharing this information with other people, especially other retainers, because I know that they're like minded individuals. When we're dealing with women, it's going to be a hit or miss. When you tell a woman that you retain because life is 10 times better while retaining, they're either going to be naturally drawn to you and say, wow, this guy, he's something special. He's really driven. He's charming. He has charisma. He's focused. He's disciplined. He would be an amazing boyfriend, husband, and father. But you have other women that are threatened or frightened by your level of discipline and your commitment to the SR journey. They will think, oh, he's never going to change. He's never going to he's never going to put anyone other than himself first. They probably worry that I'm always going to be the number one priority. And to a degree, they would be right. But that's what attracts women to a man in the first place is he's very goal driven. He's focused on his mission, his purpose, his priority. That's what women are naturally attracted to. So that's the type of man who retains is that goal driven, purpose driven man. So it's like you will.
Sorry to interrupt, Delato. I want to get back to this situation with this girl just to add some circumstances on top.
That's what I was getting at. But yeah, continue.
So let's say you meet her, you go for a coffee, you like her vibes, and she likes yours. And then you open up about retention that you are on 479 days, and she tells you that she understands your journey. She's able to wait. She will be ready when you are. She's not rushing you.
Well,
You
that's amazing. And that's also very rare because a lot of women, they want to rush right into it. They want to see if the sex is good. If not the first date, maybe the second or third. But since, you know, we all know how harmful lust can be. So I'm a firm believer the longer you put that intimacy off, the better it will be when that time comes. Like it will be more on fire. There'll
Mhm.
be a greater, stronger spark between you two. I like when the tension and the connection builds
Mhm.
and rises to the point where you need each other. You don't want to be without each other. You want to get intimate as soon as you meet up because the spark is there, the connection is there. But I do like women that have a lot of self-respect and they don't rush the intimacy. So her level of self-respect will make me respect her more. And same thing with me. I have a lot of self respect. I don't want to rush into the intimacy. A real self respecting woman would appreciate that in a man. So
Mhm.
I'm just looking for a woman who's kind of strict with herself and she she doesn't have too high of a body count. She doesn't have a wild past or she wants to wait until she meets the right man and she won't get intimate until the right moment. Maybe after a month or two or three, maybe a half a year. Like everyone's different, but you should never rush into the intimacy, even if you think the spark is there immediately. It will probably hurt the relationship, possibly even ruin it.
I hear you. I hear you. Thanks for sharing the perspective. Let's dive into another topic of personal breakthroughs. Off call, when we connected on FaceTime before recording, you told me about the car that you were able to purchase and other breakthroughs that you had. Can you share how retention helped you to lock in and make a breakthrough, whether it's a financial breakthrough, career, or something else?
Yeah, so the breakthroughs didn't really start happening until I made the conscious decision to retain nonstop. So that decision was made early 2023. I said, if you really want to get all the benefits of this practice, you're going to have to take it to the next level, which means you're going to have to quit all bad habits. You're going to have to separate yourself from bad people, bad places, and bad things. This is a natural part of the ascension process. Part of elevating is creating boundaries for yourself with other people, telling them what you will and won't allow into your life. And they will either respect it and honor it, or they will go away. Because naturally on this journey, you make people step it up. You make people rise to the occasion and level up, just like you are, just like I am, because you really want the best for everyone. And part of the best part of SR is that you get to watch everyone that's retaining win as a group or as a collective. So that's been one of the best parts for me, is just watching all the retainers keep winning, keep elevating in life, and keep evolving. But yeah, the major breakthroughs happened when I made that conscious decision to start retaining nonstop, go on these long streaks, which led to me quitting PMO. It led to me getting rid of all bad habits that I had and getting healthier, getting physically fit, um, watching my diet, um, just lifting weights, exercising, changing my perspective on the world in general. Also, making the decision to only interact with positive people and only do positive things and only surround myself with, high vibrational people, places, things, and activities. I only listen to uplifting and mood boosting music. I don't like that negative, low vibrational music. I don't like drainers, haters. I don't like feminists. I like feminine women, which is the opposite of a feminist. Um, yeah, once I quit PMO and I quit the bad habits that were holding me back in life,
Mhm.
that's when the major breakthroughs started happening. Um, that's when I really think that God elevates you to the next level. Um, he needs to make sure before he elevates you that you're serious about this journey. You're serious about how disciplined you are. You say, I quit that and I'm not going back to it. Or, I quit porn and I'm never watching it again. Or I quit playing with myself because it's stupid and it's wrong and I won't do it ever again. And definitely I made the decision to quit releasing early 2023. That's when this journey um that's when you could say God gave me promotion, and he made me uh want to take it to the next level and be a certified retainer, or
Hmm.
an OG retainer, as we like to call it. He wanted to elevate me to where I'm at now, which would be veteran retainer. So
Hmm.
it all starts with your discipline and your obedience to God, and just being strict with yourself. You got to tell yourself no. You got to tell that woman no. When you tell certain people no, God tells you yes.
Oh.
So that's one thing I realize is when you avoid certain people, places, and things, God will put you in the right place at the right time to get these blessings. And you want to stay on that course. You want to keep getting blessed. You want to keep getting these benefits and these rewards. There's nothing else quite like it in the world. Like, I don't ever want to go back to the old ways. So it's worth it to keep retaining, because life keeps getting better. And I want everybody's lives to keep getting better and better. And a woman would be so lucky to get with me or any other long term retainer, because we're truly blessed and we have certain healing powers. And our energy is so good, so pure, so positive, that people definitely benefit from being around us. I mean, I've had multiple people tell me that they're always in a good mood when they're talking to me, or after they leave, you know,
Hmm.
after we're done chilling, they're always in a good mood after. It's like they've been healed. It's like they've left with more knowledge and more peace and love and light in their spirit. And that's why I'm here. That's why I do this. Just to spread love, awareness, and the truth. Because life is a big party. Life is meant to be enjoyed. SR, it kills that stress and anxiety that you used to have before you started retaining. So I'm here to help other people, man.
Yeah, totally. Speaking, that's also one of my favorite benefits of SR. You mentioned anxiety and fear. In business, you can experience different seasons, like highs and lows. When I am on SR, I never have financial anxiety, even if money is not coming in. I know that everything will be taken care of. But even almost 2 years ago, when I was with my ex girlfriend and tried to start a business, when you release, you have so much money anxiety. I cannot explain. And I figured lots of retainers who passed 90 days, they also experienced the same, that after 90 days, you don't have financial anxiety, even if you're not there yet. And I figured also, you said you run a business as well, correct?
I mean, right now kind of I kind of freelance. I kind of work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean I haven't had jobs or careers in the past. I am a certified mechanic. I
Nice.
went to school for automotive mechanics. I've worked at several car dealerships over the years, certain mechanic shops. And
Mm.
right now I'm at the point where I don't think I really want to do that anymore. And I also don't think I need to do that. I think that I would like to, you know, create my own business, because when you're a retainer, you're naturally the boss. You're not going to want
Oh.
to work for other people. You're going to either want to work for yourself, or you're going to want to have people work for you. So I'm the same. I don't worry about money anymore. And I haven't worried about money for years, definitely since I started retaining nonstop. But I don't know like where this business is going to go. I would like to, since my mission is to help other people, I would like to create a business having to do with semen retention and help coach other men so they could be the best, highest version of themselves. But I don't know if that requires some sort of schooling or education. I don't know if that correlates with psychiatry or psychology, because you being a retainer, you're kind of doing psychology, like you're learning how to rewire your mind. And as a result, you have the ability to help other people rewire their mind to avoid lust, to avoid pleasure, to avoid whatever it is that triggers them to go back to the woman or the screen or their bad habits. So, yeah, man,
Yeah,
I would like to open up a business kind of like what we're doing right now with the Zoom meetings. I would like to help coach men from around the world so they could tap into their highest potential.
yeah, and the reason why I asked about the business, I also figured when you start something out, whether it's a YouTube channel or a service-based business or e-commerce, it requires so much patience and an ability to focus that you need to be, it's just my opinion, you need to be on retention when you build a business. I was saying about this before that I have a camera rental business sometimes. So I had to deal with the claim where you have to be extremely focused and detail oriented. Then an employee needs asking you about the tasks, and you handle so many things on retention, like in a business when you retain, but when you release, it's hard to stay focused. I don't know how to explain that, but it's like an ADHD brain. And
Yeah,
people, mhm,
you could call when you're, on day zero or square one, you could call it scatterbrain or scattermind. You're not able to focus on one thing at a time or what you're doing. Your mind is maybe in like two or three different places at once. You do not have that heightened level of focus or clarity. But I remember back when I was a drainer,
mhm,
it would be more difficult to work. It would be more difficult to focus on the task at hand that I'm doing. And then once I started retaining, it didn't even seem like work anymore. It just became like just not necessarily fun, but like something that I just have to do. I'm here, I'm at work,
mhm,
I have stuff to do. I might as well tackle it, one thing at a time, take care of it, get it done, leave, get paid.
mhm,
It's just you getting, when you're on SR, you're in a natural flow state. So you're in this cycle of just keep doing, and keep winning. And you're in this natural flow state where life is just more fun than it used to be when you were drained. So work doesn't even seem like work. It's just what it is. It's just business. It's just work becomes like a hobby or
mhm,
just something you have to do throughout your day. It dare I say it almost becomes fun, but not like in an enjoyable way, like you're just really into whatever it is you're doing. That's one thing I noticed. So work definitely becomes easier, even when you're just doing your daily routine or your daily, you're running errands or
mhm,
you're lifting weights and exercising. All that stuff becomes fun too. Life just becomes way more enjoyable. And I don't have any stress or anxiety. I can't really remember the last time I was depressed or stressed out because it just doesn't exist anymore. Even on the bad days, you're able to fight through. It's like you use your bad days as adversity to get back to the good days. So you keep having these good days. And I think you can't enjoy the highs without some of the lows. So you're able to fight through the lows, the bad days. And then the good days, which are majority of days, they're just that much better. It just calls for a celebration, you know? Every day is a reason to celebrate, especially if you're retaining. Every day is a gift. So you
Oh,
must
wow.
celebrate each and every day. And I mean that.
This is inspirational, and I can relate to that because indeed I do not feel depressed at all. I have hard and complicated days. You become this kind of stoic, wise stoic. Yesterday I was sitting on the bench and I was like, why my soul is here? What's the purpose? Like so many deep questions. You experience life as a philosopher. But when I was drained, I remember depressive mode, lots of depressive thoughts like, should I do this? Should I stop doing this? Should I find a job? You don't know what to do when you deplete yourself. That's the thing.
Yeah, another thing is there's no such thing as boredom when you're on retention.
Hmm.
Your mind is always occupied with something. You also know that you need to stay busy throughout the day.
Oh, yeah.
I try to limit the amount of time sitting on the couch or watching YouTube videos. I try to limit that to only an hour or two. And even 2 hours, I know is too much. But, it depends on the weather. Um, right now it's the end of winter here where I am, and it's currently snowing outside, and we're looking at, a lot. Like, oh, they say it's supposed to snow a foot and a half
Hmm.
tonight, so there's not as much to do. But definitely when it starts to get warmer, those spring, summer, fall months, I try to be outside and occupied as much as possible. But even if you're just chilling indoors, there's plenty to do indoors. You could lift weights, you could exercise, you could
Hmm.
listen to music, you could make music, you could cook healthy food, you could, um, if watching YouTube videos is maybe the last thing you want to do, and it would just be out of boredom. But
Or you want to get some knowledge from Bogdan and you open this podcast.
exactly, you could watch the Pathfinder and get inspired by these interviews by experienced long-term retainers that definitely know a thing or two about this practice. And another thing that I need to mention is that YouTube is how I discovered SR, and it's how a lot of other retainers discovered SR. So you could use it as a learning tool, or you could use it for entertainment. You could also use it for, it could be used for good or bad. Yeah, YouTube is a godsend because that's how I discovered this practice.
Okay, Delato, I'm curious now, what are your favorite benefits of semen retention so far?
It's an excellent question. So, my favorite benefit is actually the visuals you get from retaining. It's similar to a mild psychedelic trip, but every second that I'm awake, I'm getting these mild enhanced visuals. Um, Everything is more bright, colorful, vibrant. Everything is alive. And when I look at lights, I see kind of like a tracers or like a halo rings of colors. that allow me to know that the seed has most definitely reached my brain, and it is enhancing the way that my mind functions, the way that my eyes operate. Definitely improves your vision. I think it heightens all your five senses, but
Mhm.
I do like the way that it improves your eyes and your vision. Another thing I like is the increased energy levels that it gives you. You don't need to sleep as much. You're well rested off only 3 to 5 hours of sleep per night. You don't get as tired as easily. You always are charged up.
Mhm.
You always have that spark. And another benefit I really like is, well, you when you combine SR with fasting, you
Oh,
only need
wow.
to eat one meal per day. Two meals is pushing it. But I've gone a full 24 hours without eating anything, like a full 24-hour fast. And the next day, the glow intensifies. Like your bright aura gets even brighter than before. You and your relationship with God and Christ gets even stronger when you fast. So that's been a blessing right there. Um, Also, when I meditate, it's a lot easier for me to reach astral projection because your central nervous system is restored to its full health, to where you're not nervous, you're not anxious about anything. So you're very calm and relaxed, and you're in a peaceful, blissful state. So you're able to meditate a lot easier than before. And I've been able to reach astral projection to where I had these kind of outer body experiences where it's like my soul was floating above my body. And it's like the deepest type of meditation you can do. And other than that, I'm always in a good mood. I'm better at communicating with other people because of retention. I get along with people very well, even strangers. I'm able to spark up a conversation with anyone. I've even had random strangers just spark up a conversation with me. And although I am an introvert, I can still be a social person. It's just got to be an energetic match, or it just has to be with the right people. But
Mhm.
yeah, those are a few of my favorite benefits. It allows me to regulate my mood to always be in a good mood. And if I'm in a good mood, then I can maybe help someone else be in a good mood or stay in a good mood. I call it positively contagious. So if I'm positive, then maybe that will transfer on to the next person, put them in a good mood?
Absolutely. I have also noticed that semen retention affects people around me, including my family members and my friends. My friend, one of my friends before, wanted to do content, record on social media and stuff like that. He's very talented, artistic, never done this before. Once I started retaining, he locked in as well. He became consistent. My mom all of a sudden started learning Spanish in her late 50s. She locked in. She's so disciplined and she loves it. I feel that people either elevate with you or they fall off and new people come in. Would you say it's a comment that semen retention, it's not only about you, but about people around you? It's hard to explain. And some people might say it's woo woo, guys. You're like went bananas, but experienced retainers know that this is real. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, so you definitely affect the people around you. And I think I said this earlier, you kind of force people to elevate or rise to the occasion
Hmm.
of self improvement or self mastery. But some people will take your long SR streak as a threat. But I'm not here to compete with anyone. I'm here to I'm here to promote this practice because it's changed my life for the better, and I know it's changed other people's lives too. Now, I know it's not the most popular thing in the world, but it is gaining popularity. I notice more people are discovering SR and more men are starting this practice. Hopefully, more men are able to go on these extended streaks because their life is going to get better. And it's to the point where your old self and your old life becomes unrecognizable. It's a night and day difference. That's why I recommend this to every man around the world. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if the only thing I would say that might affect your SR journey is if you're in a relationship or if you're married. That's the only thing that will not keep you from starting a journey or going the distance on the journey, but it might keep you from starting it in the first place, you know?
I agree. And there is a practice that I am explore in the future. I know that it exists right now. I don't know if you heard about this. It's called Kareza,
I have.
Karezza. And I think when a woman is spiritual, and imagine if both of you, like a nice, loving couple, and at some point you can order this book and explore this together, and she doesn't say, like, oh, this is weird, or I need you to release, to validate me. She understands that you're spiritual as well. I think by it's like we're talking about advanced level. I'm not there, but I read articles about people who practice that at some point. Imagine if she circulates the energy and you do the same, your connection has ROI. If we talk about business, like return on investment.
Yep.
Imagine if this woman is also practiced like celibacy and you connected now by entering this union, by exchanges this energy, you and her become luckier, wealthier, and more spiritual. I think if retainer meets such a partner, it can turn into like divine, cosmic Nikola Tesla kind of genius mode. You said it's so hard, but I believe those women exist. Imagine the level of consciousness, and if at some point people decide to have a family, the baby is not going to be NPC, it's going to be next Nikola Tesla.
Fully agreed with that, brother. The most talented inventors, artists, musicians, actors, they were all retaining their seed. It's just a known fact. They got that inspiration through retaining their life force, which allowed them to really just make a name for themselves and leave their imprint on this earth, which it's almost unavoidable if you're on a long streak. You're gonna make history. You're gonna
Oh,
leave an
wow.
impact. You're gonna leave an impact on this world that even when you're gone, people will never forget you. You know, they will keep talking about you. They
You're
will.
you're
They
saying
will.
this. Sorry, you're saying this. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Seriously, because I think like even if this channel or this interview in particular changes one freaking life, we already did our mission, bro. This is how I feel, genuinely. Like one life, because look, even if I'm telling you, even if some men experience tons of women, they are not going to be remember you like, oh, this guy was like awesome, or stuff like that. It's all temporary. But when you're able to affect somebody's life in a good way, or they have good things to say about you, I think it's more fulfilling for the souls. Material things are cool, don't get me wrong, but they will be forgotten eventually, and people will remember what impact you did on their lives.
Definitely, man. I think everything is energy or related to it. And ultimately, people are going to remember you for your energy. If it was pure and positive, or if it was dirty and contaminated. And nobody really wants to be around someone with dirty or negative energy, someone who's low vibrational, someone who has nothing positive or uplifting to say about anyone or anything at all. So you just want to surround yourself with some good, happy, positive, uplifting people that want the best for you. But yeah, I think if someone watches this podcast and they decide to start retaining, then we completed our mission and God is proud of us. So we will be rewarded and blessed for doing that. Like right now, for this podcast interview, we're both going to be blessed for this. And as a result, other people that watch this, they will receive blessings from watching this.
Wow.
That's how powerful this practice is that other people, men and women, will benefit from us speaking about semen retention.
Another question that I wanted to ask you earlier, I think it's important one. How I was watching a documentary a couple of days ago about the Hub on Netflix, just to understand how this industry is built and how it affected my perception and my mind and minds of millions of people. Can you share how do you think uh, the porn industry affects the preferences, the human behavior, and norms of the society that the society preaches these days? How this thing completely changes the brain and the desires when it comes to men, and then how women behave while interacting with women. Can you just elaborate on that? Because I think it's important when a young male, when a young boy like myself, when I was 10 or 11, a friend of mine showed me the video, and since then I was never the same after that. Can you elaborate on this industry and what harm it causes?
Sure. So I think the porn industry is extremely toxic, and I think it degrades and devalues women, but I think it ultimately degrades anyone involved in the business. Even if you're not having sex on camera, even if you're just the cameraman, that's lowering his vibration too. Watching two strangers fornicate and there's no love, there's no connection. It's just for money, a little bit of money, and a quick little bit of fame. So, porn, it definitely rewires your brain and it makes you a loser. And if you keep watching porn, then you will continue to be a loser, even well into your adult life. There's a reason why porn is free and it's easily accessible on every computer. There's a reason why people purposely block that site or those sites. It's because they know they don't have the self-control, or they don't have the discipline to keep themselves from going back to those dirty websites. So the porn industry knows how powerful it is, how much control they have over the porn stars and the people that work in that industry. Maybe they're not the ones performing, but they're still involved. All those people are cursed, as far as I'm concerned. And when you watch that stuff, it 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 pretty much sets you up for mediocrity and to be average or to be subpar. It also affects the way that you interact with women. I think porn makes you more shy. I think I never had this issue, but I've heard that it could lead to erectile dysfunction or you just having problems with the way that your gear is operating. Like you need more stimulation if you're a long time porn watcher because you're so used to these unrealistic women and these crazy acrobatic sex positions that they don't really do in real life. Um, it just makes you expect something that's completely unrealistic to happen in your life, and it's probably not going to happen like that. It leads to unrealistic expectations, like I'm going to meet this girl when I'm out in public and we're just going to smash right away. It doesn't work like that. And it definitely when I used to be a porn viewer, I I was never shy with women, but I didn't want to approach them as much as maybe I do now because you get these negative thoughts like, what if she doesn't like me? What if she doesn't find me attractive?
Self-conscious.
Yeah, it just makes you, it keeps you in your lower nature. Like, it keeps you from having this natural level of confidence. So it's very harmful. It's very dangerous. It's very toxic. And it's also just embarrassing.
But I also feel that people know when you watch porn.
Oh,
People
you
like
wear it.
they subconsciously know. And even when I connect again at the business events with people, I know who relapsed yesterday. Like I know who watches porn. Like
You could tell. You
as
could definitely
silly as
tell.
it sounds, as crazy as it sounds, but looking at my old photos, you just when you watch porn, you just look like a little bit of a clown. You just your face is drained. You have lots of eye bags under your eyes. You can see when somebody watches. And guys, I highly recommend this documentary on Netflix about the hub. Just to give you a perspective, it's a tech company that orchestrated our behavior. When we open multiple tabs, when it's not enough, it becomes more extreme, and our brains get so addicted to the performative actions that our wives, our girlfriends, we are not interested in them anymore. We just want the extremes. This is how I was curious because the minds that are behind this website, they are smarter than the people who work uh, on at Netflix or Amazon. They know how to get you hooked, and they know how to keep you longer. And all of the colors that are being used on specific websites, those colors are on purpose because it reminds a dark room, a privacy. But they know what you do, guys. They know what they do. It just, yeah, no,
It's
no.
it's very disgusting the way they have this society set up to where everything is gynocentric, meaning everything revolves around women. I definitely believe that society is viewed through the female lens. So they've brought us into this new era of, I mentioned it before, we live in a gynocentric, feminist, communist, socialist twilight zone where they want to treat everyone the same. And unfortunately, they want to treat everyone like a woman. But let's not forget that half of the population are not women. So, us as men, we don't want to be spoken to and treated like we're women because we're not. And if you watch any advertisement on YouTube, I don't watch TV, I don't care about movies. I don't listen to new music, but all that stuff is geared and advertised towards women and weak men. So like I'm talking like blue pill beta male like male feminists. And retainers are the furthest thing from that. We're proud to be men. Like we want to be strong and powerful, and we do want women to act right and be feminine and be women again. Like we don't like these modern women, these feminists. They're trying to compete with us when they're supposed to be helping us. We're supposed to be helping them. I don't know about you, man. I don't want to help a woman that hates me on a subconscious level. You can't build a relationship with a man hater of a
Uh,
woman.
well, I experienced something like that when I just moved to the US when I was working at the restaurant. I was raised to help women to be a gentleman, and I experienced like when I, like at the restaurant, I tried to lift a heavy chair, and I'm like, let me help you, please. And a woman was like, she was so masculine, and he's like, no, it's my chair. She was offended that I offered her to lift a chair with her, so she's like, was so into her masculine energy, and I was like, oh, this is how some women in America behave. I wasn't raised like this because when the woman carries heavy bags, let me just help her. When she does something that against her feminine energy and nature, I want to step up as a man and just help. But once I saw that reaction, I'm like, oh, that's wild, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of gross, but um yeah, these days when you try to help a woman, whether it's like opening the door for her, pulling her chair out for her, they take it as it's like offensive. And that's not at all what we mean. We're trying to be gentlemen. We're trying to make their life better or easier, but we're not trying to insult them or disrespect them. Problem is, they're so brainwashed and indoctrinated by all this garbage that they put out. Um,
There
you know
is.
what?
Mhm.
Well, I was going to say they're just so brainwashed and indoctrinated by feminism that they think that this is normal, but it's leading to their own demise because a man of God is not going to want to commit to a man hater or a feminist who
Mhm.
hates men and doesn't see the value of having a man around. Because without men, the whole world would collapse. The infrastructure would not be able to continue.
Mhm.
Um, you know, Women would find out very quickly if men went on strike that society would completely collapse after only a few days. How would they eat? How would they get their next meal? How would they get fresh water? How would the food be delivered to the supermarkets? How would their precious beauty items that they paint their face with get delivered to these stores? It's all because of the hard work of men. If men just said F it and gave up, they would not be able to live like how they've been living. So women take men for granted, but this cannot last long. This will not last forever. You already see women denouncing feminism and denouncing the girl boss era, saying they want to go back to the old school traditional ways of them cooking and cleaning. And the man goes out to work every day and comes home to a freshly cooked meal. They look at that as slavery. I look at that as that could be a dream life for both parties, the man and the woman. It's just most women don't want to do that anymore. They rather make a man's life more difficult rather than easier. So that's why I've taken a step back from,
Mhm.
like I said earlier, I've never had a girlfriend, never even been on one date in my life. And I've never been married and I have no kids. And I'm proud to say that in my whole life, I've spent less than $100 on women because I've never been on one date in my life. And I'm so proud of that because I've heard guys say they've wasted thousands. or 10,000s, even hundreds of thousands of dollars on women. And at the end of the day, most women are insufferable, so they can never be happy. So why would I waste my time and energy and money on a woman if she could never be truly happy?
Haters, get ready in the comments. It's your time to show up right now. They are already typing, but um, speaking, I think, Delato, I think that you deserve so much happiness, success, and love that at some point you will go on a date and see your princess who will appreciate you for the man you are, and you're gonna be blessed. Trust in God's timing and trust my words. She's out there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I hope so. I do think you're right. I think it's a matter of God's timing. Maybe it's about being in the right place at the right time, or maybe it's about just continuing to do what I've been doing is just be patient and keep retaining. And I will meet a good woman eventually. At the same time, I'm not holding my breath on that because here's another thing. It's like the younger women are more attractive because they're more youthful, but they're not really down to earth. And they're definitely not humble and modest. So the older women, they might not be as attractive as the younger women, but they are way more modest and humble and down to earth. And to me, that's what is the most attractive. It's all about her
Okay,
character and her personality. The looks are actually secondary, at least at
okay,
this point in my life and on my journey. I would rather have a woman who's like a 6 or a 7 on the attractiveness scale, but she has a good heart and a pure soul, rather than like an 8 or a 9 who is just gorgeous, but she has a terrible personality and a terrible character. Because beauty fades and appearance is only surface level. So it's not what makes a woman a good woman. It's does she treat herself well? Does she treat you well? Does she appreciate you as a man? Everything you do, the fact that you put God first each and every day and you retain for God and Christ. And the relationship that I have with God and Christ and myself, it keeps getting stronger. So I think that makes you as a man more attractive. So a woman is naturally going to gravitate towards that godly retainer because he has the glow. He has this bright magnetic aura. Man, I could attract anything I want almost instantly. And I've had to turn down a few women because I knew that we weren't an energetic match. Either I wasn't attracted to
mm-hmm.
her mentally or I wasn't attracted to her physically. But I just know that you're going to waste your time and energy if it's based on lust.
Oh
The
wow,
I'm demisexual, which means that I have to be attracted to the woman that I'm with before I get intimate with her. I
wow.
cannot just I can't just get right to business with her if I don't view her as a potential girlfriend or possibly see a future with her.
Guys, I think Delato deserves love and appreciation as a man. If you know somebody from New York who has a good heart and has good values, let's send her Delato's way and let's make him connect. I want this man to be happy. We'll drop the links in bio under this video. I know you know this woman, or maybe this special woman is watching this video. Delato, thank you for sharing your knowledge today. Let's go get to the closing questions. So you'll just answer to those questions with short sentences, and we'll just go one by one.
Definitely.
Okay. So the first one. Who do you become when you stop wasting sexual energy?
You become him. You become that guy. You become the man that other men want to be and the man that women want to get with.
Awesome. What would happen if men reclaimed this power?
They will tap into their full potential and their life will get drastically better in all aspects of life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. He will just be forced to level up. He won't have a choice. Automatic level up.
What is the biggest lie society tells men about sexuality?
That you're the bad guy no matter what. And that, hold on, one second. One second. Well, I'm doing an interview right now, and it's really important. Just come back in like 30
You
minutes.
see, when it's Pathfinders, people cancel calls, meetings, and stay focused on the path, because as a Pathfinder, you have to find a path. So Delato is back. Let's see what answer he has.
So where were we at? My bad about that.
What is the biggest lie society
yeah.
tells men about sexuality?
So the biggest lie about that society has told men about man's sexuality is that we're predators or that our sexuality is deemed as toxic or controlling when it's not. I would argue that men are the more romantic gender, not women. Women are, they're the receivers. So, like, men are the ones that bring most of the stuff to the table, let's be honest. A man has to bring value to a relationship before the relationship even starts. He has to be presentable, he has to be attractive, good looking, he's got to have money. Otherwise, these women don't want a broke dude, you know, they don't want a bum. You actually have to have put in the work in yourself and in your goals, your hobbies, your career, your business. You have to be well established in order to just meet a woman that wants to date you or take you seriously. Another thing is that we were told since kids that women were sugar, spice, and everything nice, that women were flawless, angelic beings, and that's just not true. All retainers know that women are far from angelic. I'm not saying there aren't some really good women out there, and I would love to meet them one day, best believe. But most women you will interact with on a daily basis, they're not really that good. They're not really good people. I'll just tell it like it is. They're kind of, they're very, well, they're mostly misandrous, meaning they hate men. But they have been brainwashed to think that they need to think or act like this when their life would be so much easier if they could work with men and not just hate on them. And it's like, I don't hate women. I just have a hard time loving them at this point, knowing what I know,
Okay.
understanding what I understand. I appreciate them from a distance, but I want to be able to love them. But it's like once you understand them fully, you can no longer love them. You can appreciate them, you could admire them, but it's very difficult to love a woman, at least for me. And in the past few years, my heart has turned cold. So it's hard for me to warm it up ever again or invite a woman into my life and want her to be there and like actually want her to be my girlfriend, build a meaningful connection and relationship with. It's getting more and more difficult for me or my soul to allow that.
It's
But
gonna
I
happen
don't
after this interview. Trust me. Pathfinders, we're working on the perfect match.
appreciate it. But
Uh,
yeah, society lied to us. They said that men are evil. all men are bad and that all women are good and women are angelic beings, and that's just not true.
Okay.
And there's still men out there that think like this, that women are flawless angelic beings, and they're in for a rude awakening and a terrible surprise. But
Okay.
yeah, I
Uh,
won't get in. I won't get into that
yeah, yeah.
because
We'll keep it
I want.
short with these
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
If a man watching this is struggling tonight, what would you tell him?
Struggling with lust or with their
Struggling,
act.
yeah, with lust, he wants to relapse tonight.
Well, don't do it because it's not worth it. And that's what losers do. And retainers are winners. And I don't think that you may have discovered SR, but SR finds the retainer at the right time, you know?
Hmm.
And I would tell a drainer or a frequent releaser to start developing a closer relationship with God and Christ, because that is the strength and knowledge that you need to embark on this journey, especially if you want to go on a long streak. You need to have a good solid relationship with God and Christ. And I would also tell them, what if someone opened the door on you and walked in on you watching those filthy sights or you playing with yourself? You would be very embarrassed. So I tell them you would never want to be embarrassed like that. So you need to pretend like someone is standing right outside your door, waiting to open your door, and your door is unlocked. You wouldn't want them to open the door and watch you doing that shameful activity because it's shameful. And, real men, they either retain for a long time and they meet a woman and they keep retaining, or they keep retaining and then they meet a woman and then they stop retaining for the woman. I'm not saying either way is right or wrong. I just know that retention is the right thing to do. It is the correct way of life.
Yeah, this is so tricky and hard at the same time when you realize the power of retention, and then you let a woman in your life, and like you're about to, let's say, for instance, have this experience, and you don't know how you're going to feel afterwards. It's like losing a virginity again, and getting rid of your spiritual armors, and to see what's going to happen after. That's such a fragile moment. And actually, in the one of the future podcasts, I'm going to be having a guy who's been on a 5-year streak nonstop, and he's married right now, and he practices semen retention while being in relationships. It's going to be
Wow.
an interesting one.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. That's quite impressive. Actually, only met one other retainer in real life, and he's married. And he's a few weeks ahead of me, so he should be around 500 days right now as we speak.
I think people who are in relationships or married and still locked in into this practice, or found a balance and solution with wives and girlfriends, they need to be interviewed as well, because some
Definitely.
people some people who are married or in relationships, sometimes they feel behind, like, oh, maybe I should break up with the, but I think there is a different angle and perspectives. Having a successful retainer who is in relationships, I think it's a next level.
Fully agree. And I think that's a beautiful thing when you are able to keep retaining while having a wonderful woman in your life, whether you're just boyfriend and girlfriend, whether you're engaged, or whether you're married, or even next step, married with children. If you're able to retain in any of those circumstances, then more power to you and God bless, because I think the world needs more love, and I think the world needs more happy and healthy relationships between men and women.
Amazing. On this positive note, we're gonna wrap up this wonderful episode of the Pathfinder podcast with our special guest, Delato. Guys, if you know other retainers who are on long streaks that would like to be on a podcast and share unique stories, there's an email in the description of this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Bogdan.
You're welcome.